We've all been here, right? Trying to get a shoot ready, and then when it comes down to the prop cloth, it's nothing but frustration. And we spend too much time trying to style the prop cloth or the napkin or whatever you want to call it. It just takes up a lot of styling time and it gets really frustrating. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how to style the blasted prop cloth. A prop cloth is a piece of decorative material that we can use to add visual interest to any photo shoot. There's a number of reasons why napkins or prop cloths are really fun and great to use in any shoot. We use prop cloths to add visual interest, to add pops of color, to add texture and depth to an image, and overall visual appeal to whatever it is that you're shooting. You can use a prop cloth in the same way that you would use a dish towel or a napkin in everyday life, but in this case, you're styling it to tell a story or on a no plate style, check the link for that video, or to add some visual interest. We use it anytime we want to tell a story or lead the eye in a direction while we're shooting. Like a napkin or a dish towel, you can place them next to dishes, your props, your subject, place cutlery on it, place glasses or drinks on it. Because they are easily manipulated at times, you can lead the eye in certain directions when you're using a prop cloth. The struggle with prop cloths is universal. They are often hard to style. They can be bulky if you don't have the right material. The material is just not quite right, or the color isn't quite right. But there are fixes to this, and in this video, I'm going to tell you what they are. When selecting a prop cloth, material is key. And these are the top 4 materials that I like to use when I style my shoots. Gauze is a pretty lightweight stretchy material. It can be pretty translucent, but I love how it can flex and bend and go in whatever direction that you choose. And this is one of my favorite fabrics for napkin styling. It's great for bunching, it's not too bulky, it's nice and thin, and you can do a lot with this. So gauze is definitely something that should be your top choice when you're shopping for prop cloths. Next, we have cotton polyester blend. As you can see, this fabric is a little bit thicker. It's coarser, but it also adds nice texture. When you're shooting something, you have other textures, but you want to bring out something that's a little bit rougher or more texture to add more visual interest. I really like this sort of coarse material, and it's just a thicker fabric altogether. So unlike the gauze, it has more weight, and it's not sheer or translucent, but it does fold nicely. Next on my list, cotton. This is a 100% cotton dish towel. It's pretty large, but when I first bought it, it was as stiff as a board. It was so not workable. So if you buy cotton prop cloths or dish towels, napkins, what have you, just know that you're going to have to wash them a few times for them to be able to be pliable. When you're working with this, it's a lot more bulky. And if you're doing something where you have a heavy cast iron pan or something that can support or push this down, if you're doing something that you need a little bit more structure. So gauze is great, but cotton has its place as well. Now this one here is linen, and I love working with linen. It's such a nice mix of the cotton as well as the gauze type feeling. It has structure, but you can still bunch it together. You can still manipulate it and it flows. You can make it angular if you want to. This is a really great fabric to work with. It is thin, It's not entirely sheer. They can iron out very well. They're super pliable and they hold their structure if that's what you need. In all of my prop cloths, I have at least a few linen cloths just because I love how they hold up. Cheesecloth. It is extremely sheer. You can see my hand. I love working with this. In my setups, sometimes I just use a couple of these or one long piece, set my bowl on it or my plate, and it's great. It's so delicate. So if that's what you're going for in your shoot or your styling, definitely get some cheesecloth. The cheesecloth that you get in the store, the strings, I mean, they just go everywhere. So you wanna get something with more of a finished edge if possible. When you're choosing a prop cloth, size is important. And I think that the more sizes that you have a lot more leeway when it comes to styling different objects. So this cloth here is 19 by 19. This one is really nice and it's big enough that I can do a lot with it for a small setup, or if I put a couple of them together, I can use it for a larger setup. The other standard size along the same line is an 18 by 18. And the 18 by 18 size, once again, works really, really, really well if you're looking for just doing some general styling of plates. The next size is dish towel size. Now you see this takes up most of the frame, and this one is 28 inches long by 19. Working with dish towels is great because they're long. If you have several bowls and you want to set them up, they go a long way and you can snake them about your setup really easily, as opposed to the standard dinner napkin size, 18 by 18 or 19 by 19, or even sometimes 20 by 20. You have to add a couple of them in order to snake it through a shoot. If you're looking for length, then definitely go with a dish towel size. And that's typically 19 by 28, 19 by 30. The next size is this little guy. And don't let the small size fool you. They're great. So this is about 10 by 8. And probably stretched out, it's more like 10 by 10. This is a great size, and it's great for small setups. It's even great for larger setups. If you wanna put a bunch of them together, they're great for that. When selecting the right color for your prop cloths, make sure to take a look at your props, your dishes, your backgrounds, and everything that you have in your inventory. This will help you make decisions on what colors to buy and what colors to maybe save for later. One tip that I would offer you is to get a series of both monochromatic and complementary colors when purchasing your prop cloths or napkins. This is gonna help you in the long run and give you a lot more variety in terms of how you style your setups. When you're on the hunt for the perfect prop cloth or styling napkin, I would definitely go to Etsy first. Ordering the right prop cloths could not be easier. If you look in the description, I have the shops that I love to go to when I'm looking for the right prop cloths for my setups. Now, before you go crazy and order everything, there's a couple of ordering hacks that I want to clue you in on that are gonna save you time and save you money. One of the ordering hacks that I would tell you to do immediately is order sample sizes. And usually shops will give you their whole inventory of swatches so you can see. This particular shop gives you 10 by 10s, which is great because you can still use them in your setups. You can see how they work with your props, and they're relatively inexpensive. Honestly, if you wanted to, you can order a bunch of these and have multiple colors, but if you know what colors are gonna work well for your particular setup and your inventory, then you have it right here. You can just take a look at it, use it, see how it works, test it, and then order that in a larger size. Another great ordering hack is ordering by the yard. This is a great way to get exactly what you want when you are trying to up your prop cloth game, so to speak. You go online and you look at different fabrics. I went on Etsy and I found a few linen shops because I knew that that was the material that I really enjoy. Saw their colors and was able to look at some of their swatches because I ordered those first. And then I decided on these colors and ordered a few yards of them. And I'm loving it because I have a friend who can finish the edge for me so that way it's not fraying. If you like that, that's fine. That's totally up to you. But then I can create my 20 by 20 or my 20 by 30 prop cloths. So if you're down with DIY, go ahead and select your fabrics. Find somebody who could finish them off for you. Create your own color palette and personalize your collection of props even more. Another thing to consider when you're ordering is if you communicate with some of the sellers on Etsy, they probably will be able to cut custom sizes for you. If there's a particular size that you need or want, just communicate kindly with them and say, hey, I'm looking for 20 by 20 in this material or 20 by 30, and maybe they won't finish the edges for you, but they might be willing to do something custom. I'm not sure on what the pricing would be for that, but if you communicate with the seller, I'm sure they'll gladly let you know. Now I'm going to take you through a few of my prop cloth styling techniques. The first one is the S-curve. You need a pretty pliable cloth to pull this one off. I would recommend a gauze or a linen. If you're using cotton or 100% cotton, make sure that it's well worn and well washed. Otherwise, it'll be a little stiff. I have my setup here and I'm just gonna go through. And that's the S-curve. The next one we're going to do is bunching. And this is where you take it and you bunch it up. And when you're bunching, you want to make sure that you have a few of the corners sticking out. When you're bunching, it also helps if you have a lightweight cloth because this way you can manipulate it and move it wherever you want. And that's bunching. The next one I'm going to show is triangles. When you're working with triangles, it's okay to have a stiffer or coarser cloth, but in this case, I have all of these lines. So if I want to do some sort of triangle or leading line, I can work with these. So I have the eye pointing here, and it also points here, leading to this dish, and up. So I have a lot of visual lines coming through to connect this setup. All right, the next setup that I'm going to do is the straight line. And you have objects intersecting the line, some within this new color pop space and some outside of this. But the straight line offers just a nice pop of visual interest. You get some texture from the prop cloth itself, which is really nice in addition to color. Then you have your foods, and now you have a really well-rounded image that shows lots of different things for the eye to feast on. Thank you guys again for watching. I'm Kiana Adams from The Key Ingredient, food photographer and educator, recipe developer, developing content for myself. But when I'm not doing that, I'm sharing my tips and tricks and all my knowledge of food photography and things of the such and sort with you. Remember to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you're notified every single time I post a video. Make sure you hit the like button as well. Be blessed. I'll see you on the next video.